You know that feeling when something complex finally clicks? That moment of clarity when a concept, previously shrouded in mystery, suddenly becomes crystal clear? It's like unlocking a hidden level in a game, a newfound understanding that transforms your perspective. Now, imagine applying a profound sense of comprehension to the world of high-performance automobiles, specifically to a machine that evokes awe and respect, but whose inner workings remain elusive to many. For a long time, the Camaro ZL1 1LE existed in this realm for me, a legend whispered about in hushed tones, its capabilities spoken with reverence usually reserved for mythical creatures. It was an object of desire, a benchmark of extreme engineering, yet the intricate details of its prowess remained just beyond my grasp. This journey began with a simple yet insatiable curiosity, a drive to peel back the layers of its formidable reputation and truly understand what makes this automotive beast tick. It's akin to being handed the keys to a secret workshop, granted access to the blueprints of a masterpiece, and given the singular opportunity to decipher the language of its creation. The ambition here is not merely to observe, but to immerse, to feel the pulse of its engineering, and to articulate its essence with the precision of a seasoned technician, but with the passion of an enthusiast. We are about to embark on an exploration that transcends a typical assessment, aiming instead for a deep dive into the very soul of this iconic machine, demystifying its power and its precision. I'm no grease monkey, nor am I a professional racer. I'm just a guy who's always been nuts about cars. After years of drooling over specific models, I finally decided to get my hands dirty and get behind the wheel. And man, let me tell you, theory is beautiful, but practice? Practice is where the real magic happens. What I'm about to share isn't just about a car. It's about the experience of deciphering a beast, understanding every bolt, every torque curve, every detail that makes it such a special machine. And yes, I've messed up a few times along the way. But hey, who hasn't? This journey into the heart of this particular machine began not with a purchase, but with an obsession. It started with images, with specifications, with the sheer audacity of its design. I'd pore over blueprints, watch countless videos, and mentally dissect its every component. The yearning wasn't just to own it, but to comprehend it, to grasp the engineering genius that allowed it to perform as it did, to push the boundaries of what was thought possible for its era. It was an intellectual challenge wrapped in a visceral desire, a quest to bridge the gap between admiring from afar and truly knowing. There's a particular kind of intimacy that develops when you're not just a passenger, but a steward. It's about the scent of aged leather mingling with the faint, metallic tang of its workings. It's about the way the engine breathes, a complex symphony of controlled explosions. Every quirk, every subtle vibration tells a story. Initially, these were mysteries I sought to unravel. Now, they are familiar conversations, signals I've learned to interpret. This deep understanding, earned through trial and error, is what transforms a collection of parts into a living, breathing entity in my eyes. The decision to actually get involved, to move beyond passive appreciation, was driven by a need to feel that connection on a tangible level. It wasn't enough to read about horsepower. I wanted to feel the surge. It wasn't enough to see diagrams of its suspension. I wanted to experience how it hugged the road. This hands-on approach, while daunting, promised a level of insight that no amount of research could replicate. It was the only way to truly answer the questions that had been simmering for so long, to move from theoretical admiration to practical enlightenment. The initial acquisition was exhilarating, a culmination of years of yearning and diligent saving. But as I mentioned, the sheer act of possession was merely the prologue. The real narrative, for me, began the moment I truly started to delve into machine soul. It wasn't enough to simply admire its sculpted lines or hear its resonant engine note. I felt an insatiable curiosity to unravel the engineering intricacies that set it apart. Every rivet, every weld, every carefully calibrated component held a story, and I was determined to become fluent in its language. My journey into understanding this particular automotive marvel was, in many ways, an exercise in deconstruction. Not physically. Mind you, I wasn't about to dismantle my prized possession haphazardly. Instead, it was a deconstruction of concepts, a peeling back of layers of technological sophistication. I devoured technical manuals, often poring over them late into the night, tracing the flow of power from the engine's core to the wheels. I sought out forums and online communities where like-minded enthusiasts shared their knowledge, their observations, and even their diagnostic challenges. It was in these digital gathering places that I encountered perspectives I hadn't considered, shedding new light on the design choices and their practical implications. The more I learned, the more I appreciated the meticulous attention to detail that had gone into its creation. It wasn't just about raw power, it was about the synergy between various systems. I started to grasp how the finely tuned aerodynamics worked in tandem with the advanced suspension geometry to achieve that legendary road holding. It was like discovering a hidden symphony where each instrument, perfectly harmonized, contributed to a breathtaking whole. This newfound understanding transformed my driving experience from mere enjoyment to a profound appreciation of the engineering brilliance at play. The road ahead, quite literally, felt different with this deeper insight. The first thing that truly captured my attention was the sheer engineering prowess behind this machine. It wasn't just a brute engine shoved into an arbitrary chassis. This was a meticulously crafted piece of hardware. There was a wealth of embedded technology, a constellation of intelligent solutions designed to make the car practically glue itself to the asphalt, to brake with the ferocity of a cornered animal, and to deliver it immense power in a controlled, almost balletic fashion. And, of course, there was a design. That aggressive, imposing visual presence spoke volumes about its capabilities before it even moved. It felt as though every line, every curve, every minute detail had been deliberately sculpted to convey a single unequivocal message. I am formidable. This initial awe, however, was just the surface. As I spent more time behind the wheel, delving deeper into its nuances, I began to appreciate the subtler, yet equally critical, elements that contributed to its exceptional character. The way the power delivery evolved, for instance, wasn't a blunt instrument of acceleration, but a carefully modulated surge. It learned and adapted, responding to the lightest touch on the pedal with immediate, yet refined force. This was not just raw horsepower. It was intelligent, responsive motivation. I started to understand that the engineers hadn't just focused on making it fast, but on making it feel fast in the most engaging way possible, minimizing lag, and maximizing the driver's connection to the machine's intent. Beyond the mechanical aspects, there was an almost organic synergy at play. The tactile feedback from the steering wheel was a revelation. It wasn't the numb disconnection often found in lesser vehicles. Instead, it was a vibrant conduit, relaying every minute shift in tire grip and road texture directly into my hands. This allowed for an unprecedented level of confidence, encouraging me to explore the limits of adhesion with increasing boldness. Each corner became an invitation, a chance to test the boundaries of what seemed physically possible, all while feeling completely in command. The car didn't just respond to inputs, it anticipated them, working in concert with my intentions. The interior, too, underwent a transformation in my perception. Initially, I saw it as a well-appointed cockpit. Now, I recognize it as an extension of the performance. The ergonomics were not merely about comfort, but about optimizing the driver's focus and control. Every dial, every switch, was placed for intuitive access, designed to minimize distraction and maximize immersion in the driving experience. The materials, while luxurious, also served a purpose, providing a reassuring grip and a sense of substantiality that further bolstered the feeling of being connected to something truly special and purpose-built. The moment had arrived to unleash the machine onto the asphalt, and my friend, one experience, flooring the accelerator, feeling the car press you back into the seat, hearing the engine's roar deafen you. It was an adrenaline overdose. But more than the raw emotion, I yearned to understand what was happening under the hood, so to speak. I wanted to feel how the suspension worked through the corners, how the ABS braking system engaged, how the traction control saved me from spinning out. It was as if I were learning a new language, the language of performance. This wasn't just about brute force. It was a symphony of engineering working in harmony. As I navigated a sweeping turn, the chassis responded with a precision that defied physics. It felt less like the car was merely turning, and more like it was anticipating my every input, a willing partner in pushing the limits. The subtle adjustments made by the sophisticated suspension system were palpable, a constant dialogue between the tires and road. translated through the steering wheel directly to my hands. It was a masterclass in dynamics, each wheel seemingly having its own independent thought, keeping the vehicle planted and stable. Then came the braking zone. As I applied pressure to the pedal, a distinct pulsating sensation informed me that the anti-lock braking system was at work. This wasn't a jarring interruption, but a controlled modulation, preventing a lockup and allowing me to maintain steering control even under maximum deceleration. It was a testament to the technology, a guardian angel ensuring that stopping power was delivered with intelligence and efficacy. The feeling was reassuring, a stark contrast to the chaotic helplessness one might expect from such intense braking. In tighter sections, where a misstep could lead to a costly spin, the traction control system proved its worth. A slight tendency for the rear wheels to break loose was met with an almost instantaneous, subtle reduction in power, correcting the imbalance before it could become a problem. It was an invisible hand, guiding the car back to its intended path, allowing me to maintain momentum and focus on the next segment of the track. Each intervention was so seamless that it often went unnoticed, yet its impact was profound, a silent protector that enabled bolder driving. This intricate interplay of systems transformed the act of driving from a simple task into a profound learning experience, revealing the intricate dance of physics and engineering that defined true automotive performance. But not everything was smooth sailing. There was one day when I pushed the limits a bit too far and ended up veering off the track. Thankfully, nothing serious happened, just a momentary scare and a few dents to the bodywork. However, in that instant, I learned a crucial lesson. A race car isn't a toy. It demands respect, it demands skill, it demands responsibility. More than that, it demands knowledge. Because if you don't know what you're doing, the likelihood of things going wrong is significant. And in my case, the wrong manifested as a financial setback. That experience served as a stark reminder of the precision required. It wasn't just about hitting the accelerator and turning the wheel. It was about understanding the subtle feedback the machine offered, about anticipating its reactions, and about respecting the forces at play. The near miss, though unsettling, injected a healthy dose of humility into my approach. I began to view the car not as an extension of my will, but as a partner, a highly sophisticated entity, with its own needs and limits. This newfound respect translated into a more measured, yet ultimately more effective, driving style. The immediate aftermath involved a rather unpleasant conversation with mechanics, followed by the inevitable invoice. It was a tangible consequence that underscored the abstract concepts I had been grappling with. The repairs, while necessary, were a costly education. I realized that my previous confidence, while not entirely misplaced, had bordered on overconfidence. The thrill of speed was intoxicating, but it could also be blinding if not tempered with deep understanding of the vehicle and the environment. From that day forward, I dedicated myself to studying every aspect of the car's performance. I devoured technical manuals, spent hours analyzing telemetry data, and sought out seasoned drivers to glean their insights. I learned about tire degradation, aerodynamic downforce, and the delicate balance of weight transfer. It was a shift from simply operating a machine to truly comprehending its inner workings. This deeper understanding was a key that unlocked the next level of my progression. The car began to feel less like a collection of parts and more like a living, breathing entity, and I, its conscious and informed conductor. The aftermath of the accident served as an unexpected catalyst, igniting a profound desire to dissect the very essence of my vehicle. My days transformed into an immersion in technical manuals, each page a new revelation. I spent hours poring over diagrams, tracing fluid lines and electrical pathways, absorbing information like a sponge. Online forums became my virtual classrooms, filled with passionate individuals sharing their knowledge and experiences. I sought out seasoned mechanics and performance tuners, eager to glean insights from their hands-on expertise. My objective was clear: to grasp the intricate functionality of each component, to understand how they harmonize to orchestrate the car's performance, and, crucially, to discover how to enhance its capabilities without ever jeopardizing the paramount importance of safety. It was a journey into a world previously unseen, a realm populated by an alphabet soup of acronyms, precise numerical values, and the elegant logic of mathematical formulas. Yet, As I delved deeper, a singular truth emerged from this complex tapestry. It all boiled down to an unyielding, consuming passion. This newfound knowledge wasn't merely theoretical. It began to manifest in tangible improvements to my driving, the subtle nuances of throttle application, the precise moment to initiate a downshift, the feeling of the tires finding their grip. All these became more intuitive, informed by a deeper understanding of the forces at play. I started to anticipate the car's reactions, to feel the subtle shifts in weight distribution as I navigated corners, and to adjust my inputs accordingly. It was akin to learning a new language, where each adjustment was a word and each maneuver a sentence, crafted with intention and precision. The car, once a tool for transportation, was evolving into a partner, a responsive entity that communicated its limits and capabilities through vibrations, sounds, and the very feel of the road beneath its wheels. The pursuit of this technical mastery also led me to explore more advanced driving techniques. I studied the principles of threshold braking, learning to brake right up to the point where the tires would lose traction, maximizing deceleration without locking them up. Understanding the delicate interplay between braking, acceleration, and steering became an art form. I practiced heel-toe downshifting, not just as a technique to save wear on transmission, but as a method to maintain engine balance and prepare for optimal acceleration out of a corner. Each successful execution of these maneuvers brought a sense of accomplishment, reinforcing the value of my dedicated study. The journey was no longer about simply overcoming the limitations imposed by the accident. It was about pushing the boundaries of what I and the car were capable of achieving together. One of the most striking revelations was the sheer volume of minute details that collectively sculpted performance. It wasn't just about a grand overhaul. It was about the thousands of tiny, almost imperceptible adjustments that made all the difference. Subtle tweaks to the suspension geometry, minute alterations in aerodynamic profiles, and sophisticated refinements to the electronic control units. Each of these, in isolation, might seem insignificant, yet, when integrated, their cumulative effect was profound, capable of dramatically altering the car's behavior and outright speed. It was akin to assembling an impossibly complex jigsaw puzzle. Only by meticulously placing every single piece in its correct position did the full, breathtaking picture emerge. For me, that completed picture was a vehicle that seemed to playfully mock the very laws of physics. This deep dive into the car's intricacies fostered a unique form of symbiosis. I began to anticipate its reactions, to feel the subtle shifts in its balance through the steering wheel and the seat of my pants. The telemetry data, once a cold collection of numbers, transformed into a language I could understand, a dialogue between machine and driver. Each run on the test track was an opportunity to deepen this understanding, to explore the nuanced responses that different settings elicited. The initial accident, what had seemed like an insurmountable barrier, now felt like the catalyst for this profound transformation, pushing me beyond mere recovery into a realm of continuous improvement and discovery. The iterative process was relentless, a constant cycle of hypothesizing, testing, and refining. A minor adjustment to the rear wing, intended to increase downforce, might simultaneously introduce a touch more understeer. Then, the challenge would be to counteract that effect with a precisely calibrated adjustment to the dampers or a recalibration of the traction control parameters. It was a dance of cause and effect, a delicate balancing act where every input had a corresponding and often unexpected output. The satisfaction derived from successfully navigating these complexities was immense, a testament to the power of focused observation and persistent experimentation. This pursuit of perfection wasn't solely about achieving faster lap times, though that was an undeniable byproduct. It was about unlocking the car's latent potential, about discovering what it was truly capable of when every component worked in perfect harmony. I was no longer just driving a machine. I was co-piloting an extension of my own will, a sophisticated instrument honed to an extraordinary degree. The thrill of each successful integration, each moment where a complex series of adjustments yielded the desired dramatic improvement, was an unparalleled reward. What truly struck me, however, went beyond the raw performance gains. It was a profound emphasis on meticulous maintenance. A racing machine, I quickly learned, demands unwavering, constant attention. Regular oil changes, filter replacements, brake pad wear checks, tire condition. Every single element had to be in pristine condition to ensure the vehicle was perpetually operating at its absolute peak. This wasn't suggestion. It was an absolute necessity. And then there was the unavoidable, ever-present aspect of safety. The seatbelt, the helmet, the fire-resistant suit, each piece of personal protective equipment was fundamental, a critical barrier designed to shield me in the event of an unforgivable mishap. My prior experiences had taught me this lesson in the harshest way imaginable. The track offers no leniency. It's an unforgiving environment where a single lapse in judgment or a piece of equipment failing can have severe repercussions. This realization underscored the dual nature of racing, the pursuit of speed intrinsically linked to the absolute imperative of self-preservation. It fostered a new level of respect, not just for the machine, but for the entire ecosystem that allowed me to engage with it. This constant vigilance, this commitment to the minutiae of upkeep, became as much a part of the racing discipline as mastering the racing line or understanding the subtle nuances of tire degradation. It was the bedrock upon which all performance was built. And then it all clicked. The realization dawned, not with thunderous roar, but with quiet, profound understanding. A race car isn't merely about raw velocity. It's a complex symphony of strategy, a dance precision technique, and a relentless pursuit of self-mastery. It's the art of knowing precisely when to unleash the engine's full fury, when to apply the brakes with surgical accuracy, and when to seize a fleeting opportunity to overtake. It demands an intimate knowledge of one's own capabilities and the absolute limits of the mechanical beast beneath. It requires a mind as cool and collected as a winter morning, paired with a heart burning with an unyielding passion. But most importantly, it's about relishing every single second of the experience. Because when all is said and done, the true essence lies in the sheer exhilaration of piloting such a magnificent creation. This newfound perspective transformed the racing weekend from a series of individual events into a cohesive narrative. Each session, from the early practice laps to the final checker flag, became an integral chapter. The initial nervousness, the feeling of being an outsider, had long since dissipated, replaced by a quiet confidence. It wasn't about proving anything to anyone else anymore. It was about a personal journey of growth and refinement. The track, once an intimidating expanse of asphalt, now felt like a familiar canvas, each curve and straight stroke in a larger masterpiece. The roar of the engines, which initially felt overwhelming, now harmonized with the internal rhythm of concentration, a powerful soundtrack to the unfolding drama. There were moments, of course, when the pressure mounted. A rival driver, pushing the limits just as I was, would appear in the mirrors, demanding a level of focus that bordered on the supernatural. In those instances, the training, the countless hours spent honing reflexes and strategy, kicked in. It wasn't a conscious thought process. It was an instinct, a fluid reaction born from deep-seated understanding. The car responded to the slightest input, a testament to the meticulous care and preparation. It was a partnership, a silent dialogue between man and machine, each understanding the other's intent without a single word being spoken. The sheer joy of executing a perfectly timed pass, of slotting the car into a gap that seemed impossible, was intoxicating. It was a physical manifestation of all the planning, all the practice, all the belief. The feeling of hugging the apex of a corner, the tires gripping the track with unwavering tenacity, was pure, unadulterated bliss. It was a moment where time seemed to stretch, where every sensory input was amplified, and where the world outside the cockpit faded into insignificance. This was a reward, the ultimate payoff of the dedication and effort. As the races continued, I found myself looking forward to the challenges, not with dread, but with anticipation. Each new track, each new competitor, presented a fresh puzzle to solve, a new opportunity to learn and adapt. The initial goal of simply finishing a race had evolved into a desire to truly compete, to push the boundaries of what was possible. The journey was far from over, but the path ahead, though still demanding, felt clearer and more fulfilling than ever before. Looking back today, I see how this journey has fundamentally reshaped me. It wasn't just about honing my skills behind the wheel. It was a profound evolution of character. I've emerged not only as a more capable driver, but as an individual imbued with a deeper sense of awareness, a stronger commitment to responsibility, and an amplified passion for life. More than anything, I've come to understand that life itself mirrors the exhilarating unpredictability of a race. There are sharp turns that test your nerve, long straights that demand your focus, and unforeseen obstacles that can threaten to derail your progress. Yet, with the right technique, a well-conceived strategy, and an unwavering core passion, the possibilities for achievement are boundless. For me, this meticulous application of skill, planning, and heart led me to the podium. The roar of the crowd, the scent of burning fuel, the intense concentration. These were once the sole preoccupations. Now, they are elements of a larger tapestry. The experience has woven a thread of discipline that extends far beyond the confines of the circuit. The meticulous preparation required for each event, the constant analysis of performance data, and the resilience needed to overcome setbacks have instilled a work ethic that permeates every aspect of my life. I approach challenges with a newfound perspective, understanding that true success isn't merely about winning, but about the continuous process of self-improvement and the dedication to reaching one's full potential. This path has also fostered an invaluable sense of camaraderie. The shared experiences, the mutual respect among competitors, and the unwavering support of my team have created bonds that are as strong as any championship trophy. We push each other to be better, to innovate, and to never settle for mediocrity. This collaborative spirit, born from shared ambition and respect, has taught me the power of unity and the strength that comes from working toward a common goal. It's a lesson that transcends a competitive arena, highlighting the importance of teamwork in all endeavors. The lessons learned on the track are indelible. They speak of perseverance in the face of adversity, the importance of calculated risk, and the sheer exhilaration of pushing beyond perceived limitations. Each race was a chapter, and every lap, a sentence in a story of growth and transformation. The journey, with all its twists and turns, its moments of triumph and its inevitable stumbles, has been the ultimate teacher. It has equipped me with the tools not just to navigate the challenges of the race, but to embrace the entirety of life's unfolding narrative with courage, determination, and an unyielding belief in the power of passion to propel one towards their aspirations.